me start by saying congrats on the movie. It's weird to say a movie is fun when it involves so much killing, but it's Nazis, so fuck it. You know what I mean?
Like, oh my God.
That's what I said.
Oh my God.
I'm being completely serious about this.
Absolutely.
I'm down with all the Nazis getting killed.
Absolutely.
You know? So I have to start with an individual question for you. I hope you don't mind. I know you do some other work, but recently, when did you decide to just work for Guy Ritchie?
Since he told me to. Since I was ordered to only work for Guy Ritchie. I know. But I'm not the only one. They both worked with Guy before as well.
Absolutely.
I feels like I've done backs to backs with him, which is pretty intense, but in the best way possible. It's so, you know what, and I'm sure it was the same for you guys. It's so nice to go back to set and see like Maxie and Ed or DP and Lulu and like all our family now feels like a field trip because we've been all around the world. We just came from Egypt and then we shot this in Turkey and we shot another one in Spain. So I keep joking that it feels like summer camp. Like you go back every year summer camp and it's like, we're in a different summer camp. It's like, oh my God, what are we doing in this summer camp? Like it's really fun.
Well, one of the things I want to touch on is the fact that Guy works very differently than a lot of other directors in the way that you show up on set. What you've prepared might not be what you're shooting.
Ever.
And dialogue may change. And by may, I mean it will.
It will.
So talk a little bit about what it's like working for Guy. And on this film particularly, what was maybe like the biggest thing you expected to film and say versus what you actually did and say?
It always ends up being better, you know, because Guy is very intuitive. He loves actors and he's very keyed into dialogue, as you know. And so he'll hear it on the first rehearsal and he knows instantly what works and what doesn't. And so, you know, he encourages us all to be very flexible and loose and just, you got to show up that way and just be prepared to not be rigid about the scene or your character or what you're prepared for because it can all change, you know? I
think for us, because we were we filmed at the beginning of the movie for 2 weeks straight before anyone else. And it's always a little daunting being the one that starts the show or the movie because you sort of set the tone in a lot of things. So there's a lot of pressure in that sense. But what I learned in this particular film is there's not enough over preparing, meaning I was very happy that I prepared the accent for so long because for a big chunk of time I was preparing the scenes and the dialogue with the accent. And so at one point I was like, I think I should just expand and learn the rules of the accent and whatnot. And thank the Lord I did because on the day, like zero of the dialogue that was written on the original script made it. He was there. Zero. And then you just have to adapt. And so I would have been screwed. And so overly preparing in advance is a great point, but also on the day, just being open to being adaptable and getting the scene in the right place that needs to be.
Be ready to throw it all away.
And
it leaves you free to take in what Guy then gives you.
This is going to be my last question. A lot of people aren't going to realize is based on a real true story, but it's also like the first Special Forces mission. Basically, everything about this is incredible. Like there's not enough adjectives. Can you sort of touch on the fact that this is like some characters are made up, but a lot of the characters are very real?
For sure.
Well, Churchill knew because Hitler was using guerrilla warfare against the British and our allies. He felt it was important that we take the same fight to the enemy. But he got a lot of pushback, from politicians and from his cabinet and from the army and the navy. And they were like, no, we can't have these kind of rogue missions taking place without them being officially sanctioned. And Churchill was like, no, I'm not going to go through all the paperwork and the red tape.
Do what's right.
Otherwise, it'll never get done. So he gave my character, the character I play, Gubbins, basically a free hand to say, just do what you need to do, but go and set Europe ablaze. Take the fight to the enemy in the way that they're taking it to us. And he did. So.
It's nice to honor the efforts of people that gave their lives for their country. You know, that's always an honor, and it's nice.
A big chunk of the world.
Yeah, for the world. And so we're just honored to bring this story to light, and people bring bring, information, but also joy and fun, and show that they were dynamic human beings. They're not just like, we think of war in such a bleak way, and they're also like having to find levity in those moments and entertain themselves. And it's nice to see the camaraderie of the boys, because they live and breathe with each other all the time. And so that dynamic and that fun and the inside jokes, like, it's really nice to see fleshed out human beings with real personalities. And that's also so nice that Guy Ritchie gets to tell this story, because he knows how to give people personalities and characteristics and define them as an individual versus just blending them all at once.
On that note, I was going to say, on that note, I got to go. They're going to pull me out.
Okay.
Congrats on the movie.
Thank you.
Really
Thank
hope it's a
you.
huge hit.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
We appreciate it.